A pleasant to everyone. I'm Zenaida Bantilan, and today we're going to discuss about the Chapter 8 of our legal aspect in tourism and hospitality, which is the laws regulating accommodation establishment. Our learning objectives are to identify the laws affecting the accommodation sectors, then identify the rights of hotel guests, and lastly is to explain how quality and safety standards are maintained by hotels and similar establishments by meeting minimum requirements of the law. Business in cities engaged in the operation of tourist accommodation establishments may be organized as a single proprietorship, a partnership, or a corporation. The first one is the hotel, a building, edifice, or premises, or a completely independent party thereof, which is used for the regular reception, accommodation, or lodging of travelers and tourists and the provision of services incidental thereof for a fee. Hotels are hereby classified into the following categories, namely deluxe class, first class, standard class, and economy class. Resort are any place or places with pleasant environment and atmosphere conducive to comfort, helpful relaxation, and rest, offering food, sleeping accommodation, and recreational facilities to the public for a fee or remuneration. Resorts may be categorized as beach resort, which are located along the seashore, inland resort located within the town proper or city, island resort located in natural or man-made island within the internal waters of the Philippine archipelago, lakeside or riverside resort located along or near the bank of a lake or river, and mountain resort located at or near a mountain of hill and theme park. Resort shall be classified as Class AAA, Class AA, and Class A, and lastly, Special Interest Resort. Tourist Inn are a lodging establishment catering to transient which does not meet the minimum requirements of an economy hotel. A partel are any building or edifice containing several independent, unfurnished, or semi-furnished apartments regularly leased to tourists and travelers for dwelling on a more or less long-term basis and offering basic services to its tenants, similar to hotel. This type of accommodation is sometimes called serviced apartment. Pension house is a private or family-oriented tourist boarding house, tourist guest house, or tourist lodging house employing non-professional domestic helpers regularly catering to tourists and travelers, containing several independent livable rooms providing common facilities such as toilet, bath or shower, living and dining and or kitchen, and where a combination of board and lodging may be provided. And lastly, the motorist hotel or motel. Any structure with several separate units primarily located along the highway with individual or common parking space at which motorists may obtain lodging and in some instances meals. Accreditation of accommodation by the Department of Tourism is a certification issued by the Department of a Tourism enterprise that officially recognizes it as having complied with the minimum standard of the operation of tourism facilities and services. Certificate of accreditation shall be valid for a period of 1 year from the date of issue unless so revoked by the department. And speaking of it, the following act, omission, or offense shall be constitute sufficient ground for the cancellation of accreditation. First is making any false declaration or statement, or making use of any such declaration or statement, or any document containing the same, or committing fraud or any act of misrepresentation for the purpose of obtaining the issuance of accreditation. Second is failure to comply with or contravene any of the conditions set forth in the certificate of accreditation. Third is the failure to meet the standard and requirements for the operation of the establishment. And fourth is allowing or permitting the establishment of its facilities to be used for illegal, immoral, or illicit activities. And lastly, violation of or non-compliance with any of the provisions of the rules, promulgating orders, decision, and circular issued by department and other concerned agencies. Responsibilities of accommodation establishments. Accommodation establishment must exercise due diligence not only in the selection of its employee but also in serving the need of its customer. Failure to do so warrants the conclusion that the management has been remiss in complying with the obligations imposed upon hotel keepers under the law. Under Article 1170 of the new Civil Code, those who in the performance of their obligation are guilty of negligence are liable for damages. As to who shall bear the burden of payment, Article 2180, Paragraph 4 of the same code provides that the owner and managers of an establishment or enterprise are likewise responsible for damages caused by their employees in the service of the branches in which the latter are employed or on occasion of their function. If an employee is found negligent, it is presumed that the employer was negligent in selecting and or supervising him, for it is hard for the victim to prove negligence of such employer. It was held that if an act was consummated through the negligence of the employees of an establishment, both the assisting employees and owner and operator of the establishment should be held solidarily liable pursuant to Article 2193 of the Civil Code. The responsibility of two or more persons who are liable for a quasi-delict is solidary. Given the rapid boost of urbanization in the Philippines, the government has enacted the National Building Code or Republic Act No. 65412 to present set guidelines for construction builders and key professionals such as engineers and architects to ensure the structures, homes, and buildings are safe and secure. The law aims to ensure that the latest technical knowledge on building design, construction, occupancy, maintenance, and use are followed and implemented. Building permit. The Section 301 and Section 302 provides for the basic requirements for a building permit to be issued. The law explicitly provided that no person, firm, or association shall construct or erect any building or structure without first securing a building permit to be issued by the building official assigned in the place where the building or structure is located. In processing an application for a building permit, the building official shall see to it that the applicant satisfies and conforms with approved standard requirements on zoning and land use, lines and grades, structural design, sanitary, sewerage, environmental health, electrical and mechanical safety, as well as the other rules and regulations promulgated by the National Building Code of the Philippines. Be emphasized that no building or structure shall be used or occupied until the building official has issued a certificate of occupancy. Establishment belong to the Group B occupancy under the National Building Code. Accordingly, it shall consist of multiple dwelling units includes boarding or lodging house, hotels, apartment buildings, and other similar buildings which accommodate more than 10 people. The foregoing provision gives the general requirement for the location of the property to be established. Light and ventilation refers to an easement of natural light and allowance of circulation of fresh air unobstructed by erections and construction. The foregoing provision gives the minimum requirements to allow light and ventilation within the building. Sanitation. Based on the Section 901, a building used for human habitation shall be provided with adequate and potable water supply, plumbing installation, and suitable wastewater treatment or disposal system. Sewage from buildings and neutralized or pre-treated industrial wastewater shall be discharged directly into the nearest street sanitary sewer main. General Design and Construction Requirements Section 1201 in the National Building Code of the Philippines refers to the regulations that all proposed buildings for construction must adhere to. This regulation and specification cover a range of aspects including the quality, characteristic, and properties of materials used in construction, method of design and construction, type of occupancy, classification of the building. This regulation also includes safety standards as per the administrative order of the Department of Labor and Employment. The goal of this requirement is to ensure the safety, functionality, and sustainability of buildings in the Philippines. Under DOT Memorandum Circular Number 2006-09, Series of 2006, all DOT accredited hotels, resorts, and other accommodation establishments are enjoined to adopt and implement the mandatory requirement of registration of guests and occupants. This is in line with the department's thrust of ensuring safe, convenient, and enjoyable stay and travel of both local and foreign tourists as mandated by Executive Order 120. Failure to comply shall be a ground to review the accreditation of such establishment by the Department of Tourism. National Homestay Program. The National Homestay Program is a program of the DOT which provides travelers with comfortable accommodation with Filipino families in area near tourist attractions. Waste Management. Under Presidential Decree number 1152, also known as the Environmental Code of the Philippines, the dumping or disposal of solid waste into the sea and any body of water in the Philippines, including shorelines and riverbanks where these wastes are likely to be washed into the water, is prohibited and might be a ground for the non-renewal of license to operate within the local government unit concerned. In this regard, the preparation and implementation of water management programs shall be required of all province, cities, and municipalities. The Department of Interior and Local Government shall promulgate the guidelines for the formulation and establishment security and safety. DOT Memorandum Circular number 2006 9 series of 2006 constitutes the adoption of safety and security measures in hotels, resorts, and other similar accommodation establishments. This is in line with the department's thrust of ensuring the safe, convenient, enjoyable stay and travel of both local and foreign tourists as mandated by Executive Order 120.